Hey everybody, it's Anna, and today I'm taking on another hot topic in the world of religious beliefs and thinking, and that is the topic of Satan, or sometimes referred to as the devil. But I'm going to use the word Satan for a very significant reason, and I'll explain it in a minute. Okay, so there are two religious views of Satan. Well, there's one that's predominant. It's the one I was raised with, and I'm sure you're aware of it too, that equating Satan with the devil. It's an opponent of God that is leading us into evil. And so our job is to stay wary and avoid, the Satan and don't do anything, like that would invite the Satan into your life. So you don't go to, I don't know, whatever you think is bad, like going to certain movies or listening to certain music or dressing a certain way or having premarital sex. I don't know what you think is dangerous or corrupting. But the theory behind that is that the Satan's out to get you and you need to be careful, which of course promotes a feeling of fear and anxiety, which is spiritual weakness. So that version of the Satan is not a tool that creates strength or power. It actually demotes strength or power. You're nervous, you're anxious, you don't trust yourself to be in the world, and frankly, you don't trust God or the soul within you to keep you safe because you're worried there's something more powerful than you that's going to get you. So that version of Satan, that belief in Satan, works to our spiritual illness or misalignment. And there's another way of looking at Satan, and I don't know that I've heard anybody else talk about it. I'm sure somebody else has, but the way I work with the Satan is understanding the Satan as the tester. Because when we see the Satan showing up in a few spots in the Christian and Hebrew traditions, it is always to test or to challenge those who are faithful or those who are about to start something new. And the biggest example of that is, of course, with Jesus after he is baptized and he's driven into the wilderness. He's there for 40 days and 40 nights fasting, and then he encounters the Satan. And the Satan sets up 3 different challenges. And each challenge, and Jesus passes through them. And as he does, he's clarifying and committing himself to a particular type of ministry. The Satan offers him different ministry opportunities, and Jesus clarifies and rejects them and makes sense of him for himself of what he's going to do. So when he exits the wilderness, he is ready for his ministry. Now there is, I believe it's the Gospel of Mark, that seems to imply that Jesus becomes the Christ after he passes through that process. And I tend to think that way. I think the Christ potential is inside of him, but it is when he passes through the threshold of the wilderness and the challenges of the Satan that he embodies the Christ energy. And that is an important piece of the spiritual journey that I think we really want to understand and appreciate. And that is the Satan shows up for us at threshold moments just the same as it did for Jesus. And when it shows up, it is not there to oppose us or to weaken us, but to push us, to challenge us, and to help us clarify for ourselves who we are really going to be. And also to help us access energy and power that otherwise was not being used. The Satan does this in 2 ways. First, it's a crucible that helps you clarify. And then it's also the guardian of the threshold. It's there between the old life and the new life. And in order to survive the new life, you have to be stronger. It's almost like you're pulling up energy that you didn't have or you didn't know you had because you never needed it. And suddenly you're using that to push through. And now that energy is available to you. So you can think of the Satan in a way kind of like a coach that is working with athletes at a very high level. The coach is not particularly loving or snuggly or comforting. The coach can sometimes be severe and even create feelings of being abusive or being pushed, like painful experiences. But the coach is doing that because they know how to get the athlete to the next level. And the athlete, even though they might complain about it, also believes in the coach and believes that if they push past whatever that block is, they're going to find the next level. They trust the coach to move forward. That's why successful high performance athletes and coaches are so successful, is they trust each other. Even though the relationship might not be pleasant, they trust it. And that's the key to working with the Satan in our life, is learning that it's there to be helpful. It doesn't feel good, but it's there to be helpful. And I think it's obvious when we think of it that way, that that's the reason it's easy to conflate the Satan with the devil or the enemy or the opposer, because to the ego mind, it is. The ego mind is the human part of us that really wants safety and predictability and wants never anything to change. And the Satan shows up when things are changing. And it can feel like there's a cataclysmic shift. Things are falling down. My old systems are just being destroyed. And so to the ego mind, the Satan can feel like the enemy, because what was safe and stable is now being destabilized and disrupted. But to the soul, the wisdom of the soul and the heart, there's a realization that we don't want to stay in the same place. We're not here to just do the same things over and over again. We are here to do a special work, and we really want to do that work. And we're willing, just like that athlete, we're willing to push forward. We're willing to push past the blocks and to see what we're capable of, because we're trying to leave it all on the field. I think as human beings, we're here to leave it all on the field. And the Satan, when there are moments when we hit that threshold, is there to push, to get us to leave even more on the field than what we even knew we had. So it makes sense that the Satan is conflated with the devil. And it especially makes sense in religious institutions, because institutions have as a primary desire stability. Like, that's a primary focus. And, constantly going through challenging moments and constant growth and shifting is very disruptive and very destabilizing. So institutions like the church, like the government, like really any institution, is just not going to enjoy Satan moments or even be able to appreciate them or even celebrate them, because they don't want growth, they want stability. But as individuals who are on a spiritual path, we can learn to appreciate the Satan. Even though it's not pleasant, it's scary, we can learn to trust it, that it's there because we have called it. Our soul brought it, has brought it into focus for us, because our soul knows we are ready for this. And what we really want to do is on the other side of that threshold. And this is the way forward. So your soul helps you to stay having faith in yourself, having confidence, even when things seem to go wildly awry, or we seem to be feeling opposed or resistance. So part of the work of a spiritual director and a healer is to help people at these threshold moments, and to help them not back away, but to keep pushing forward in those moments, to trust themselves, to believe in their own souls, the way their soul is writing their life, and the way their soul is stacking certain events, so that they can flow through those moments and discover what's on the other side of it. And that's what we do as spiritual communities together, help ourselves stay stable and confident as we walk through, and to learn the Satan is really one of our best friends. Hope that's helpful for you today, and I'll see you another time. Bye.